The media gets so excited about rehab starts. Did you read all of the Mets fans and the Mets writers and all the excitement of Jacob deGrom's rehab start? He threw 4 pitches at triple digits. One even hit 101. 5 strikeouts, 1 hit batter. An immaculate, perfect, not an immaculate inning. What a perfect rehab start Jacob deGrom had. He's back. Max Scherzer's back from his oblique. He's going to pitch tonight in Cincinnati. The Mets have held on. The Braves made a run, but the Mets have held on and we're ready to go. Here's how rehab works when you run a team. You start, as I've told you, with the progression. You start at 60 feet flat ground for a pitcher, and then they throw at 100 feet, 120 feet, then they get on the mound. Then they're throwing off a flat mound, then a big mound, a bump on the mound. Then they're throwing just their fastballs. Then you start with the breaking balls. Then you get simulated hitters in, and then you map out a rehab start. Rehab starts are when a player goes to the minor leagues, generally in Florida. Sometimes they go to their other cities where their AA team is. And you pitch a regular game against players who are never going to be big leaguers. You go through a lineup where maybe there's a big leaguer. Maybe. Teams do not look at rehab results. Everything that you read about or the media talks about, that is not what we're looking for. We are looking for HEALTH, and that's IT. Once in a while, we look at VELOCITY, but certainly not the first rehab start. As a matter of fact, if deGrom is going a hundo in his first rehab start, we're calling up deGrom and saying, listen, I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but don't forget what the plan is. The plan is not to throw 100 against a bunch of 19-year-old non-prospects who are not going to be big leaguers. The plan is to pitch in October for the Mets so we can win a World Series for the first time since 1986. Are we clear? The plan is to get you through a rehab start, have you wake up the next morning. First thing you do is call in the trainer. Tell the trainer, although likely they call their agent first. You tell the trainer, I'm good, I feel this, I feel that. Great. Call the GM, who calls the manager, calls the president, who calls the owner. Whew. Made it through one rehab start. See you in 5 days. Next rehab start. We're going to increase your pitch count. Let's say you go from 60 pitches in your first rehab start to 75 pitches in your next rehab start to 90 pitches in your next rehab start. That's already 2 weeks of rehab starts, right? If you think about it. 5, 10, 15, that's 15 days. Does it sound like spring training to you? That's what it is. Jacob deGrom is in spring training right now. Are you the fan who gets excited when Jacob deGrom pitches 2 innings in his first spring training start and gives up no hits, no runs, and say, he's ready, baby. He's our ace. Oh, my God, our spring training pitcher, he pitched 1 inning, gave up 4 runs on 3 hits. He stinks. Get him off the roster. Come on. That's not how baseball people do it. We are not results-based in spring training for players who we know have jobs on the team. If you're fighting for the 25th man, we're going to look at results. But we're only going to look at results in the last 2.5 weeks of spring training. That's it. It is not all that impressive when pitchers get out hitters early in spring training where the best hitters on the team are getting 1 at-bat, sometimes 2 at-bats, and you're bringing in guys with no names on the jersey wearing number 69. That's not the type of results that we're really focused on, just as an FYI. How do the Mets feel bringing deGrom back when they're going to bring him back? Because it's going to be after the All-Star break. All of you who said he's going to be back before the All-Star break, do you remember when he first got hurt? I want to say it was, I don't remember when it was. In March, he pitched 2 spring training starts, March 22nd and March 27th, and I'm not sure he pitched again. And then he had an examination, and there was a thought, we're looking at June, and I said, no way. He's out till after the All-Star break. When you've got a problem with your shoulder, of course, which the Mets said, it's just bone. And that's what Jacob said, too. Don't worry, it's bone. We're good. Bone heals. You'd rather have bone than tendon or labrum. That is true. Ligament, you'd rather have bone. But it still takes a ton of time. So we had to wait to see on May 18th that deGrom wouldn't be back till after the All-Star break. We can't declare that as a win yet, but believe me, that's going to be a win. The Mets will bring him back. He'll pitch healthy for the rest of the season. He'll opt out of his contract, and somebody's going to give him $35 million a year for another 4 years. I don't know how that can be. So the Mets somehow survived deGrom and Scherzer out, and they're in a good position. They're still in first place. I think they have a 3.5-game lead right now over the Braves, who are one of the hottest teams in June. Unlikely to match that again in July. It is rare to have back-to-back months like that. So it's one of those situations where, in theory, the Mets had those 20-point leads in the NBA where you spend all the energy to come back, you tie the game, but then lose by 7. That's what the Mets are thinking the Braves did. They blew everything just to get back to 3.5 or 2.5, and they're going to cool off. The problem is there's still an entire half season to go. So it's not exactly that I'm saying the Mets aren't going to win the division, although maybe I am saying that. What I am saying, though, is that the front office of the Mets is thrilled, no matter what they say publicly or privately. When you have a season where your top 2 starters don't pitch for you for extended periods and you're still in first place no matter how crappy your division is, you don't need to sugarcoat it. That's the greatest result possible.